So it turns out that Trump derangement syndrome is real. US therapists see an increase in patients with Trump anxiety disorder. A symptom is feeling as though the world is going to end. And I suppose when you've built your world on lies and misrepresentations of everything else that's not in your immediate vicinity, when these bubbles are being burst, you probably do think that the world is coming to an end, because you've crafted essentially a fictional world around you, and that is ending. Reality is catching up on you. This couldn't go on forever, and so it didn't. Elizabeth Lamotte, founder of DC Counseling and Psychotherapy Center in Washington, D.C., said that some of her patients feel on edge about Trump's decisions. It's very disorienting and constantly unsettling. Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's weird having a president who isn't catering to you. I mean, for the last 8 years of these people's lives, they would have had constant reassurance that the power structures are working in their interests. The progressives were in control, everything was moving along as planned, and everything was going great for them. And the costs of their lifestyle were being exported to poor people in other areas of the country that they never visited, they don't know anyone in, and they don't give a shit about, and frankly, they think the people who live in these areas are fucking racist, and xenophobes, and Islamophobes, and homophobes, and religious zealots. They don't care about those people, so those people can take the pain. It's actually righteous, because, they are a bunch of rich, straight, white men after all, aren't they? Let's watch Fox's little video here.
Grab the tissues. Therapists say that there has been a rise in politically related anxiety dubbed Trump anxiety disorder. The main symptom, fearing that the world is ending. Many on the left reportedly feeling on edge about President Trump's rhetoric and...
God, I can't help but laugh, because these people are the most goddamn selfish people you've ever fucking met. Just this entitled attitude that the world has to be run for them, and them alone. And if you have a problem with it, you are defective. It's not that there is a legitimate concern that you have. No, you are a moral leper. You are the problem and they are the solution. And as soon as you're gone, the world will be a better place. That's what their opinion of the white working class are, frankly.
Policies. Although it is not an official diagnosis, patients also suffering from lack of sleep and spending an excessive amount of time on social media.
Wow, imagine my shock. So this is the CBC report. Let's have a quick look at this. Is he gonna blow us all up? No. Idiots. Although he will blow up your pleasant fictions and your fantasies about the world all singing and happy and joy and love and peace and all that sort of nonsense. Yeah, the sort of things that you made up in your head about Islam, about China, about Russia, about all of the things that you think are true but aren't, they're all going to be washed away. It was a rhetorical question, one that predated Trump's threats of a showdown with Iran. Who the fuck's afraid of Iran? They don't even have nuclear weapons. Iran is not a threat to the US. You don't have to worry about everyone being blown up because of Iran. Russia isn't going to go into a nuclear throwdown because of Iran. It's not going to happen. Don't worry about it. But I love this. She refers to a collective anxiety among patients who feel on edge about how potentially dire the president's decision could be. There is a fear of the world ending. It's very disorienting and constantly unsettling. Now you know how it is for just some regular schlub, some guy who's just working his job, and suddenly his neighborhood is filled with people who don't come from the area, who don't share his values, and who actively despise him because he's not like them. That's how he feels. And then he's told he can't speak about it because that's racist. And he's like, but they're everywhere and they're changing my life. No, you're a racist. You're a xenophobe. They have a particular religious creed that seems to be remarkably backwards. It seems supremacist and honestly misogynist. And they'll say, no, you're an Islamophobe. I imagine, and then when he says, yeah, but I'm a free-born Englishman, I'm allowed to say these things, to say, but what is it to be English? What are British values? What are this? They sit there undermining his value systems and trying to strip away all the parts of his identity that make him him, and give him roots and tie him to his locale. And then they say, you're the bad person. That's how he feels right now. You're getting a taste of your own fucking medicine. From Trump supporters, Lamotte hears about the pain of feeling socially or familially isolated for supporting the president's agenda, even if they don't support his tactics. It's weird. I imagine that they're quite happy with how things are going at the moment, though. Don't worry, the culture will shift when people realise that Trump is actually doing the work and getting things solved, and that the fucking regressive left and their constant fear-mongering and accusations are going to lose. Things will get better. But from Trump's detractors, Lamont has been struck by how much their anxieties resemble those of patients raised by a parent with personality disorders. Yeah, and these people will put their personality disorders in their fucking Twitter bios. Because frankly, they have been coddled their whole lives. Political correctness, helicopter parenting, all of this stuff that came up in the early 2000s, yeah, this is what it does to these people. If they aren't being coddled at every point in their lives, they fucking lose it. Not only are they going to have to get over it, but frankly, they're going to have to learn to grow up. Whether it's conscious or not, I think we look to the President of the United States as a psychological parent. I'm sure there are many people on the left who do that and looked at Obama as the parent figure that they probably never had. The father figure in their own lives, which, I mean, if you're going to have a father figure, you may as well go for someone a bit more masculine, in my opinion. But either way, right? If you're looking at the president or the prime minister or whatever of your country as the psychological parent, you have problems and you probably do need therapy. The prime minister or president of your country is not your parent. They are an elected politician. Generally, they're going to be shit. Occasionally, you get one that isn't shit. Don't look to them for moral salvation, because no politician is going to give you that. None. They're all terrible. Get used to it. So their use of the word, was it Trump anxiety disorder, comes from an essay for a book co-edited by psychiatrists from Harvard Medical School and Yale School of Medicine, blah blah blah, distinguishing it from a generalized anxiety disorder because the symptoms were specific to the election of Trump and the resultant unpredictable socio-political climate. Though not an official diagnosis, the symptoms include feeling a loss of control and helplessness, fretting about what's happening in the country, and spending excessive time on social media. Well, apart from the spending excessive time on social media, is that not what the people in the local communities that have been afflicted with mass immigration have felt? Have they not felt a loss of control and helplessness? Because they've been completely powerless to stop what's been happening to them. Because their government, with full support of the progressives, I should add, have opened the borders for all and sundry to just move in en masse. That's a terrible thing to do to people. Completely outside of their control. Completely unwarranted. I would honestly feel like an absolutely terrible person if I had advocated an open border policy. I would feel like I was betraying my countrymen if I was advocating for this. That's how I would feel. I'd feel like a traitor. And yes, we Trump supporters do have a term for this. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. And it's great. I mean, look at this, right? Connie Sherman, the manager of a dental practice in San Diego, so what's she on, like 50, 60k a year? She's struggling. She's one of the working poor. She's got her nose to the grindstone every day. She's not a successful, university-educated, independent business person. Oh no, she's a victim. She's someone who needs help. She's been sleeping fitfully post-election, constantly checking her phone for the latest headlines in the wee hours. When Robert Mueller's indictment news dropped, I wound up staying up in the middle of the night when I should have been sleeping, just thinking about it, worried for our country. I don't give a fuck, bitch. Go and eat some more avocado on toast or something. Get the fuck over it. Your world was never meant to be because the world you were building was untenable. You were building it on the back of the oppressed, poor minority in your country, and you didn't give a shit about them because they were white. And this class revolution happened in spite of every method of social shaming you could bring to bear. As they say here, some Trump supporters also report feeling more stressed, confiding to therapists that uncivil discourse and attacks on the president were causing them anxiety. Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, the opposition party, that is, I guess, the left at this point in the establishment, have just been trying to unseat Trump from day one. And uncivil discourse, yes, the left has been very, very, very unkind to people who oppose them. But it won't be forgotten and it won't be forgiven. And when our time comes, we will make sure you remember how you treated us. Just kidding, we'll be nice to you. See, you were afraid for a second there, weren't you? You were like, oh God, if they take over, does that mean that they're going to treat us like we've treated them? Because you realise all of a sudden that you're a piece of shit and you have treated people who have legitimate concerns and they want to voice their concerns in the democracy, the participatory democracy of which they are citizens, and you did everything in your power to shut them the fuck up for the sake of diversity, for the sake of progressiveness, for the sake of building a utopia that is collapsing around your ears. I hope it was all worth it. But as I said, don't worry, we're not going to be like you. You're a piece of shit. We're not.